Hey everyone, it's Donna from Donna's Corn-Free Cooking again, and today I'm going to share with you a recipe for corn-free chili con queso. It's one of my favorite things, and it was so disappointing when I became allergic to corn that I could not have it anymore, because of what you find in the store has corn products in it. And even to make it from scratch with Velveeta cheese, the Velveeta has corn products. So I devised a recipe that I make it on my own using butter, flour, chopped onions, cheddar cheese, Deluxe American cheese, and evaporated milk. And I usually have to add a little bit of whole milk to it. But today I'm going to show you how to make this, and then just like with my other videos, I'll have the recipe in the description. So right now I've got butter melting in this pot, and I'm going to put in anywhere up to a half a cup of flour, and that is my roux base. And I use about 6 to 8 tablespoons of butter, and I need an extra one right now, so I'm throwing that in. And on top of this, I'm going to add 1 chopped onion. So I whip that around in there with the butter and flour, and I add salt and pepper, and you can add it to your desired taste, basically. And I turn it down to about medium-high, and you got to stir it constantly, because 1, I'm sauteing the onions, and 2, I'm making the roux. And it's very important when you make roux that you don't let it turn brown. If the flour turns brown, what happens then is it won't thicken. So I make sure that I have just enough of what I need and let it cook to where I know that it's not going to brown. And then to this, I will start adding my milk, which is 1 can of evaporated milk. I'm stirring all the time because you don't want any lumps in it. The only lumps you want to see are the chopped onions that you put in there. I turn the heat up just a little bit more to get that up to boiling. And it looks like I added enough flour that it's going to thicken up really good, so I'll add a little more milk. Let that start cooking good. And then once you bring it up to a boil, you turn it down to simmer, and I start adding my cheese. And this is really a good recipe. It keeps for about 2 weeks in the refrigerator, but if you have a large family or you're like us, it doesn't last very long because you can use it for just about anything. I love to dip the Simply Lay's potato chips into it because I can't do tortillas chips, and the Lay's Simply Classic chips are basically just sea salt and sunflower oil, so I can have those. Now, I'm going to have to add a little more milk. It's still thickening up too thick. And then I'm going to start adding my cheese. And the Deluxe cheese, I use anywhere from 8 to 10 slices. And I just break it up and put it in there. And I'm going to turn this down to 2. Because what you don't want is for this to stick. And I let this cheese get completely melted and incorporated into the sauce. And once it's done, then I add my cheddar. And I think since I'm doing such a large batch today, I'm going to do a couple more slices just to make it really, really cheesy. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's looking really good. And this recipe, like I said, is so easy that you can have it done within 20-30 minutes and be ready to serve. And I use it, like I said, for the Simply Lay's potato chips. I also like to use it with to make like taco meat and then put it on top and make a taco salad without the corn chips. And it's wonderful. I just absolutely love it. Oh, that's melting up really nice. As you can see right there, it's melting right down like I want it. I am going to add just a touch more milk to that. So it is really getting thick. Thickened up quicker than I thought it would today. But you just never know when you make it. This is great on baked potatoes. If you want to leave out the green chilies, tomatoes, and onions, you can just have like a cheese soup and do it over toast. You know, over baked potatoes, over anything that you would particularly like to have. Now, that's pretty well melted, so now I'm adding 2 cups of grated medium cheddar cheese. And I'll let that melt in. And once it melts in, then I will add the tomatoes and green chilies, which really just finish it off and make it the queso that you see in the stores and that people love so much. Oh yeah, it's really coming out good. Still a little bit thicker than I want, so a little more milk there. Oh yeah, perfect. It's coming out beautifully. The secret ingredient to making good queso is when you're melting the cheeses to constantly stir it. That's very, very important. Keeps it from sticking to the pan, and it gets the cheese all incorporated into the sauce. And as I said, you can use this just for a soup. When I was growing up, we always had the cheddar cheese soup over toast, and it was so, so good. And I still like it to this day. I've tried it with the queso, and it's just as good even with the tomatoes and green chilies. And the thing about this, if you don't want to use the hatch, which does have some citric acid, I don't have a problem with the citric acid. It can or may not be made from corn, you just don't know. But I don't have a problem with it. But if you are afraid of it, just take some tomatoes, place them in boiling water for 60 seconds, pull them out, plunge them in ice, peel them, and then just chop them. And then just chop up your green chilies or your jalapenos, and when you're sauteing the onions in the butter, saute them as well, and you have exactly the same ingredients. So there's always a win-win in cooking corn free. People say you can't avoid corn, but I'm here to say that you can. And so now I've got all this wonderful cheese melted in there. And I'm going to add this whole can of Hatch diced tomatoes and green chilies with roasted garlic. And like I said, the only thing that they've added is 2% of citric acid, which may or may not be corn. But as I said too, I don't have a problem with the citric acid. So I'm getting this all stirred in, get it all incorporated. And it's almost completely ready. I will leave this for about 10 minutes. I'll turn it up to about 4, and then it'll be done, and I'll share a picture of what this beautiful dish looks like. And as I said before, the recipe will be down in the description. This is a wonderful, wonderful cheese sauce that you can make for whatever reason. So I hope you'll try it, and then I'll come back and see you again. Bye.